Hmm. Yeah, good. Come on. Come on, YouTube, load. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, we're live. Welcome back to Odys Talks. This show is naturally brought to you by Odys Global, your one stop marketplace for aged domains and websites, as well as several additional services, including topic clusters, EAT audits, fully managed hosting, and 3-in-1 redirects. You can also get domains and websites from us in installments. And if this is the case for you, you can always reach out to us via the website, and our team will sort you out. And today I'm joined by two great pros. It's Karl Hudson of Sarcharu, Backlink Doctor, and something else. There are just three dots.
Listen, it just keeps on going.
And Max or Maximilian Kuch.
Not
Did I
bad,
say it
not
right? Yeah. At one point we were talking, and I thought your last name was Kuch because I have a friend from here from Moldova whose grandmother was from Germany and her last name was Kuch, and I remembered that, and so it kind of like I still can't get like detached from that pronunciation.
Yeah,
Right,
it's a
guys.
tough one.
I would have just butchered it if I said it. So there was, yeah.
Try it.
I'd have
Try
said
it.
Kuch, Max
Kuch.
Kuch. So
Yeah, it's just Kuch.
Kuch.
It's
Oh,
pretty difficult because it's like the only special sound in German language is in my name. So that's why it's kind of easy to butcher it.
All right. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm looking forward to a terrific chat. Why don't you go on and introduce yourselves? Max, since this is your first time on the show, why don't you go first?
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm Max. I'm from Berlin, Germany, but now I live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, the SEO capital of the world. A really, really good place to live here. Yeah, so I've been doing SEO, niche sites, expired domains since 2016. And yeah, I've been pretty much playing ever since. Scaled up the team a bit, some successes, a lot of failures on the way as well. But yeah, I've been doing pretty all right, especially during COVID. It was a good time for my niches I'm in. And now just experimenting a lot. Like obviously I was also affected by HCU, like so many other content site owners. And now just trying to like find my way around. And yeah, so always interested to exchange some ideas and find new stuff to work on.
Awesome. Sounds great. Karl, it's your turn.
yeah, I'm Karl. So been in the game for quite a long time now. What do? I do eight. Let me hit mute on Slack just in case you hear that. I do a lot of agency stuff, affiliate stuff. Was quite heavy in the gambling industry for quite some time. I'm exiting out. This is my last year from an exit from that. Yeah, that's kind of just me in a nutshell. I do a lot of SEO, a lot of testing, have a few teams, and do a lot of local stuff now as well, which is all pretty good. Just pretty busy, I guess. Now also doing a lot of YouTube stuff. I am on YouTube quite a bit now, so that's getting there. That's getting a bit more popular.
Awesome. Amazing. All right, let's kick things off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Yeah, funny thing, like for those listening and watching or rewatching, as you can see, the topic of this conversation is ranking factors leak, and yeah, I thought this would be like a natural topic to talk about today because like it was buzzing all over the place, on WhatsApp groups, Facebook, like everywhere. And then we just get into the studio with the guys, and they're like, "So, what's happening?" I'm trying to get up to date. What's up?
He isn't saying that he did just drop it on us about half an hour ago that's what it's about. And we're like, oh, great, yeah. We've had time to divulge and understand all of that documentation.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
like from my standpoint, you promised us to inform us like a day early about the topic, and half an hour is pretty tough for preparations.
well, what happened, I was actually thinking like what would be like a great topic to discuss, and then I've been waiting for the thumbnail to be delivered so I can set up the live events on social medias and YouTube. Yeah, and then yesterday in the afternoon this whole thing started to sprout out, all over the place. I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting topic to talk about, like something like something everyone's talking about. So I thought that would be natural, and then I got the correct thumbnail only this morning. So this is when I set up the live events. So that's how it happened. Because I usually actually do like give the topic like
I'll
at least a
vouch
day
for
before this.
I'll vouch for him. He usually at least gives you 45 minutes notice. He's really good at that.
How much did you guys manage to figure out about this whole thing, and what do you think about it?
Does Matt want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. It's fine.
Yeah, go on.
I mean, like we obviously all in the industry pretty much looked at the article by iPullRank. I think it was a pretty interesting sneak peek into how it worked. I mean, obviously, like the basic history is like, okay, some bot apparently published the API documentation for I think it's called Content Warehouse API onto a public repository, so that like pretty much everyone can just look into the documentation. Like obviously we could not see how it works directly, but just seeing the documentation alone, I think that's pretty similar to the Yandex leak earlier. I think that was like half a year ago or so. Just seeing like different potential ranking factors is quite interesting. And just by seeing the labels and the descriptions, I think we can extract a lot of it. Like people have been discussing about like many individual things which are in there, which Google has denied before. I think that's obviously a good opportunity to just learn how the algorithm works, and like often just to double down on things we have been doing anyways. But anyways, quite interesting.
There's a few, obviously having a few different groups, and what's quite interesting is if anyone's aware of Corey's stuff, there's been if you start going through and looking through that documentation, there was a lot of let's say similarities to what Corey's been sort of preaching for quite a while. So it's quite interesting that, like, seeing so much of it, like the SPOs, all of that sort of macro context, all of this sort of stuff is all mentioned within the documentation, which is great to see. Obviously, you'd expect that when a lot of Corey's course and information is all based off pre-existing patterns, so you would probably expect to see that anyway. I think the hard part is, I think SEO naturally brings people who are like, they love shiny objects, and it's like shiny object syndrome. So this is now the next shiny object is the fact that we, as Max pointed out, we don't know how, if this leak is actually 100% up to date, B, how much is it even weighted into the algorithm, how this could be a small percentage of the overall algorithm that's actually being leaked. It's just one of them where there's so many unknown variables, and every SEO every SEO will be thinking, oh, well, guess what? A link builder is going to say, look, this section on link building is clearly saying that link building work. You just need some user click information, etc., or user information engagement on the links for it to work better. Or you're going to have the semantic SEO saying clearly semantic SEO is going to work, etc. And it's just going to, niche site builders obviously are all dead, or most of them are all dead. So it's a hit to you, but it's just, I think it's quite too soon to say. And then whether or not people are going to actually start making rapid changes, I don't know. I know, but like won't change much in our processes.
Yeah, I agree. And like one thing I'm a little bit afraid of, like when it comes to like really analyzing it, is people just go in with this confirmation bias of them either coming from the camp, let's say like we take a Koei, if it's true or not, or like I don't know, but let's say like, oh, you think like that's like the most important thing. You go in there, you find your 5 or 10 factors related to Coe's theories, and you're like, wow, okay, now it's proven. But I mean, you could also go in there, it could be like, oh, links are the most important thing. Oh, we can manipulate clicks now. And like there's like so many approaches which can be validated, because obviously everything is like based to some extent on the truth. But yeah, as you said, we don't know the weights. Maybe this is like weighted really, really small compared to other things. Maybe like backlinks are the most important thing, which seems like to be the case right now. So we really can't be sure, like obviously how the algorithm works in full extent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think Google is going to like introduce some urgent, drastic changes to the way things work right now because of this leak?
I do. What I think will be interesting is seeing what like the likes of John and the search liaison on say Twitter start to say, because a lot of what's been mentioned within the leak kind of contradicts what they've been preaching. Now, as the liaison officer, surely you should be given information that is correct instead of essentially what could be perceived as bullshit. Again, you don't know how accurate this leak is and what percentage it is or how much of it's applied, etc. So it's just a very tricky situation for them. But again, let's face it, Google has kind of been on a bit of a back foot for a little while now. The latest updates, all of the content sites being hit. Their AI not going as well as they'd hoped on most search queries, and then trying to say it's such a small percentage of search queries, but I can't remember what the exact percentage was, but someone said that still works out to 1.5 billion searches that are incorrect a day or something like this. It's like ridiculous numbers that are like incorrect. Don't quote me on any of those numbers. I just remember reading
right. This is recording, right? It remains online forever.
It's all right. All these numbers could be, unlike Google, all these numbers could be completely unfactual and incorrect. So do not quote me on them.
And then
there was a big chunk of AI responses that are incorrect, and Google's kind of just brushed them under the rug to say, well, that's what it is. Sometimes it is. Well, you probably shouldn't give an answer if it's incorrect. That's my view.
Yeah, I feel like there's been some pretty interesting things in there. Also saw a discussion of people putting up all the old tweets and having all the mentions of like, oh, there's no domain rating, there's no domain authority. Meanwhile, there's like literally a factor called site authority in the document. So yeah, sure, they never said there's no site authority, just that there's no domain authority, but might refer to the same concept in the end. I think there's been maybe some pretty interesting wording going on now, going back and seeing all the old posts and old statements.
That's another point as well. Yeah, you could be right on that. It could just be the technicality of the words used, which is why that's what they'll do, is give a technicality as to why they're correct. It's because it's not the same terminology that's used within their guidelines or documentation. I guess.
Well, it remains to be seen what's going to happen. Yeah, but like you said, the shiny object syndrome, right? Like everyone's talking about it. But everyone seems sort of optimistic these days. It's like, ooh, now we're gonna crush it, considering all the changes and updates. Yeah, and does it affect, like, in any way, the way you even now, even though you didn't look like deeply into that so far at this point, but do you think it will affect in any way you approach things in your work? Both of you are in local stuff, right? Well, you're for the UK, Karl, and Max for Germany. Do you think it'll affect in any way? Will you introduce any changes to the things you do?
I've got a few more tests that the testing team can start playing around with and seeing if we can manipulate search data a little bit more. But other than that, not really. I wouldn't be. We rank pretty well anyway. We have no problems ranking. So if we wanted to start changing it just because of a Google document being released, it seems a bit rash in my eyes. Yeah, I wouldn't change much. We might improve in some elements based off what we might pull out of this, but it's still too. Ask me in a month, and I might have actually just like sod it. We've changed the whole approach.
Yeah, same for me. I think actually it's a good sign maybe that Karl and me both we did not spend too much time looking at this, because in the end, that like if you have like stuff going on, I think it's like better to just like keep like executing, or keep like the team executing and set up new tests, rather than just follow the news pretty much and change like the whole approach. I think Kyle Roof did a good talk about this. Like if you find this button which makes money, if you press it, just like keep pressing it, and like don't like think too much sometimes. It's also a very good approach, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, I think it was last week during the conversation with Greg Elfrink and Uncle Dave, David Johnson. I probably was Greg or both of them who said something like, there are so many businesses out there, even including especially those online, that just do their thing without actually thinking about SEO whatsoever, and yeah, just printing money,
Yeah, and I personally love them businesses as well, because that's when you're actually dealing with like proper brands as well, and usually they are the easiest ones. I used to say this all the time in the gambling industry, like, for instance, the likes of 888 Casino and all of this. It's like, oh man, you've got such a big brand and brand reputation. You shouldn't be getting beat by all of these, what I would consider small little micro casinos versus these giant behemoths, right? They shouldn't be getting beaten. They do. And it's just like, wow. Like, I love dealing with a brand way more than just a SEO website, because I think that's the problem at the moment. Is a lot of the affiliates that got hit in the SEO update, let's face it, they were primarily just SEO. They're not a brand. There was the odd brand here and there that did get hit, unfortunately, but majority of them are the simple SEO focused. They're not doing any social media. They're not doing any paid advertising. They're just all about just building and ranking the site.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the dynamic is definitely shifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people started to pay more attention to trust signals and EAT, right? Just building either company brands, corporate brands, or personal brands. Yeah, that helps a lot. I mean, Dooley is doing terrific work with it.
They're telling me I need to start opening it more. I'm like, dude, I'm already doing it loads. Like, I'm just not doing it like how much you're doing it. Come on. Some of us actually have to do some SEO work. You know what I mean? Where like some of us actually still do that.
Yeah.
Doing
Max, you were, as you mentioned, you are doing SEO since 2016, so that makes it 8 years. That's quite decent. And I reckon you've been doing both English language side, dealt with both English language sites and German language sites. How different is German SEO from English language SEO? I mean, I understand it depends on the area. I mean, US is quite different from the UK, and UK is quite different from Australia, and so on and so forth. But like in general, how different is it? I guess it's a lot easier to rank in German.
I'll take a guess. I'll take a guess. Way easier.
Yeah. I mean too, like if I would compare, probably I would like compare on 3 factors, like how easy it is to rank. Germany for sure, much easier. But like two major downsides are content and links, because you will end up paying much more for content. Because German is like not that like well-spoken language. I mean, we have like 100 million people speaking it, but those people live in high cost of living countries. So it will be much more expensive to produce content. And I mean, like if you've worked in the gambling industry, then you probably are well aware of the link prices. And those are insane for German links. Like we've been setting links to whitehead projects for like 500 euros plus. Like I think I saw links, like a link to like the NordVPN, I should not say it publicly, but like to like well-established brands, which
I don't think they'll get.
Yeah, and they've been like setting for like 1,000 plus in like just like an in-content link in a random article, like a niche edit, and it's insane. Like when you want to build a proper link profile in Germany, it will be much more difficult than in England or like in the US. You also don't get any natural links. Like if you publish the best statistics piece ever, like no one will link to you. But if you just publish it in English, we have an AI website right now. I just published a YouTube video about it. We are generating 15 links per month from like in content, do follow links, people linking our AI content. That's insane. Like Wikipedia is linking our AI content now. And I mean, I do nothing. It's just ranking in English for like a few statistic related posts or terms, and we generate links that way. Like in Germany, it would never happen. You will never get to like DR 20 plus without doing major work.
Interesting. And
do you find the German market's a lot more open to buying links?
We're
recently,
I mean,
and it seems to be like they just understand that you want to rank, you need to pay money to buy links. That is it.
Yeah, I think maybe less than in the Polish market. Obviously, I don't know that one, but like how I see the Polish SEOs, I think probably they're more sales driven. But I think in Germany we have a few big agencies who are really pushing and probably also expanding the market for link buying. I've seen some pretty good like sales processes, and I could imagine them to like expand the market quite a lot, so that more companies will start buying links, especially for like e-commerce and service-related businesses.
How different is the situation in the UK? I mean, for local SEO, how does it compare to what Max was saying about Germany?
Local SEO, you don't really need.
Yeah.
To be fair, you do it without links. You don't really need much links at all. If I'm being 100% honest, we don't. A handful of links 9 times out of 10, but then again, our strategy is very much focused on AMDs. So obviously, you've got the leverage of that domain being like an exact match, which obviously helps. I'd say if you're more going down a branded approach, yes, you will need links, because we've also got a few branded websites that might not have the keyword mentioned or like a partial match mentioned. So they typically require a little bit more love. But within the local markets, I think the hard part is you're only ever competing really against like an SEO agency. So you're competing against a business who's hired an SEO agency to rank the website, right? Whereas we are the SEO agency. So 100% of our time can be spent on building, the team's time, getting this website ranking. Whereas that SEO agency might only have a, £500 to £1,000 a month from that client. So that client's only getting X amount of hours of work. A proportion of that is going to be a report and a call. So then it's like they've only got X amount of hours to actually try and outrank a team that's able to spend 40 hours a week on it, right? There's just, I tend to find that's where we make great success. In the local, look, now Skype's going off and everything, and now I've just lost you. So I've just clicked the button and you've disappeared. But that tends to be where we make the most success, to be fair, is just outranking websites, smaller business websites, and then potentially sell them the leads down the line.
Interesting. I'm also just getting started in the local rank and rent or selling lead space. And like so far I can confirm what you've been saying. We set up, I think, like 20 websites, mostly EMDs. And it's insane. We are ranking like top 15 with all of them within a month. With doing no link building at all. Like we've got a featured snippet, but we just put like a placeholder address in there, like no address, and it would still being displayed as a featured snippet response with a DR0, no links, just for having the AMD and like a website which at least loads on HTTPS and it's mobile friendly, and yeah, that's better than the competition already.
Yeah, it's great. Like literally, we've seen it on. Obviously, my team sort of update me, and I was just clicking through our. We use AccuAnchor to see like rankings, and I was clicking through and going, "Oh, wow! This website it was set up about 3 weeks ago. It's number 3 for its main keyword. This one's number 2. This one's." I'm just like going through this list. I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, this is a headache because we haven't actually set up any of the forms yet. So all of the forms are just dead forms on the site. Because obviously you kind of build it and you think, I'll sort out the emails in a bit. It'll take it a little while to get up the rankings anyway. And I'm straight away, I'm like, oh, I need to set up all the email addresses, get the team to do that. So we've been working through that just because it's ranking so quick. And again, I don't know if it's maybe because of obviously we've got quite good processes, the quality of the content, all the site metrics, the speed and all that. Or is it just it's weak SERP? I don't know. We're in so many of them, and some of them I would almost say, in my eyes, should be quite a hard SERP, and they're just obviously depends on what your background is. If your background isn't gambling, I'd imagine they might be a little bit more difficult. But when their background's gambling and you can pick up links for so cheap, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the change is much less about ranking than about like getting the clients, getting the leads, setting them, having a good process for that. It's more challenging.
Yeah. And then the deeper conversations that will come down the line when you find a decent client and how you manage to negotiate that becomes a bit of a challenge as well.
Yeah. What niches are you guys into? Well, Karl is definitely in gambling, one of the niches. What are the other niches you guys are into, and which of the niches you're working with seem to be like more challenging these days for you?
So content side wise, I've been mostly active in sports niches, like different ones. Both in Germany and for the US market. For the local banking brands, I try to like go into like niches I've been like dabbling in before with content websites, so that I know already some companies and can reach out to them. But yeah, I just set up the website, so I don't have like experience in like actually renting them out. I think I've got a call scheduled for tomorrow. Let's see.
I would say sports betting is harder than casino. But I've been sports betting, lottery, gambling, local businesses, dating from an affiliate point of view, pickup artistry. From a local, oh God, there's too many. Finance, construction, cleaning, security, cyber security, that's on the up and up and up. Obviously, with the age of AI, I think people are becoming a little bit more concerned with cyber security, so that's always a good one. Law we're about to enter. Tons. We've got something like 1,500 websites, if not more. So yeah, there's a lot of niches.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
I don't like my domain renewal for each year. That is sizable, but
domain renewal feature. Ooh, sounds fancy. Are you planning to move on to like other, let's say, areas of online businesses besides building sites for SEO and local stuff? Maybe, I don't know, e-commerce or SaaS or anything else, just to diversify the things you do?
As one of the founder of Search Through Backlink Doctor and ... obviously I've invested in auto blogging, so that is like a SaaS tool which has now obviously just had auto links. So he's currently building auto links, which looks pretty cool, like a almost like a little bit of a Pitchbox, not the same scale as Pitchbox competitor, but all automated using AI. So that's one area. But in terms of e-com, I've always thought about, I wanted to get in recently. It was about 12 months ago. I was like, you know what I'm going to do, because I've been loving the cold plunge and all that. I've been doing all that since the start of the year. I've been doing that. So at the start of the year, I was like, you know what, I am going to, because I was researching it last year, and then I was like, I'm going to build my own business in this. But then since then, I didn't pull the trigger. And I've realized every man and his dog is selling a cold plunge. Like literally every other day I go on Facebook, there is another brand that's set up, and it's clearly from Alibaba, and they've chucked a few £100 on the top, or AliExpress or whatever. And yeah, probably not worth it. So I didn't go into that one. But other than that, I don't really have much of an interest in e-com.
That's so funny. I just have to to get in here. Yeah, actually, I thought about the same. Also, like Code Plant Germany would be cool. I actually own the domain icebath.de. I saw it for like $100 and I just got it. Yeah, so I thought about the same, because I feel like Europe, like UK might be a bit faster, but we kind of like always copy whatever is cool in the US. And it takes like some time to get over there. Like UK maybe like 1-2 years. Germany is quite far behind, maybe like close to 5 years. And I've seen this in like many niches. We like just get the stuff copied from the US, but pretty slowly. And now it's big there. So I think many people are expecting it to also get bigger in Europe, obviously.
So it's so funny to hear from you that like Germany is so far behind of something. For me, living here in Moldova, you know.
Vlad, do you have cars over there, or is that not it yet, that technology?
Just the horses and the cabs, like big technology, you know. And I'm actually using like an old Cinescope TV instead of the computer, you know.
You got one of them big cables, the big thick cables for the laptop.
Oh, it actually was really funny to hear that, because we actually like had a joke here. Well, not even a joke, it was like common sense here that like whatever is happening in the West, like in the Western countries, gets over here in like at least 10 years. You know. It takes time. Well, today it's faster because you know the internet and stuff, but yeah,
9 years.
9.5. Oh man, yeah, all these things and changes. So I've had the interview with Karl. I did the interview with Karl in Saigon. Asked him these things, so I will pick your brain, Max, on this. How did you cope with the helpful content update? Did you get hit like badly? Did you completely abandon some of your project sites, or did you recover, or were they just doing good and well and are faring pretty well today?
Yeah, we got it pretty severely. Like I think like 3 of my sites have been like got the full classifier hit. So I easily lost like 6 figures in yearly profit from the HCU. So it's quite significant, but I think for me it's all right, because for the whole journey I took a lot of profit. Like I didn't trust this whole system too much to reinvest the most back. I operate on like 90% margins for most of my time. So that's why like it's kind of fine for me. I feel very bad for those people who have been doubling down the whole time and then they get hit with a massive property. For me, it was all right for that reason. Obviously, now we try to shift. Like we have so many experiments running right now. So we've been shifting some of the content over to YouTube. Like because we actually reviewed many products like ourselves and still got hit from the HCU. So probably it's not an on-page classifier that much. So we've been doing YouTube videos based on those reviews. We've been putting content to Pinterest. we set up some weird tests, like we purchased forum domains, like with a forum in it, like expired domains. Then we put forum software on there, rewrote content, and just publish it as like a forum discussion. Actually, it gets some clicks a day already. That's kind of funny. We do LinkedIn, Pulse, Medium, everything, just like to like get as much traffic still to those pages as possible. Because obviously, if we have set like private partnerships to with those affiliate programs, it's quite lucrative still to just get like every single click we can to those programs, because they pay pretty well, and we've been testing for many years. Yeah, that's pretty much like my stats so far. Like we still have like okay revenue as a company, but yeah, it's less of a future-proof model for us looking into the future.
Great. Well, sounds good. I mean, so I've heard so many like bad stories about like big projects being hit and their traffic shaved badly. So yeah, good for you. Good for you, your budget and your company. Yeah. Karl, did anything drastic happen over the course of the past 1.5 months on your end?
I had a stag do. That was quite drastic. Oh, yeah, you mean? No, not really. Not much has really changed. Well, obviously, Dooley did take quite a big hit on a lot of his sites. One of his employees was targeted, let's say, and yeah, that was quite interesting. So we've been gradually getting manual penalties lifted. Like manual actions. So that was the interesting part of the manual actions is that obviously as soon as it's lifted, the sites just bounce back to where they were before, which is awesome. I'd almost argue that it's actually better than having like a algorithmic classifier against the website, because the problem is you don't know what it is that's actually hit the site. So you're now guessing on how to improve, whereas obviously when it's the manual actions, you kind of, they're telling you what you need to fix, you fix it, and then hopefully you get it lifted. That's working quite well. I think we were slow. We're on some of them on like the third approval request, and we've had a few lifted, so that's quite nice. That's starting to see some better results from that. That's only just been since the last couple of months. But yeah, other than that, we're just the site that got hit. We just launched a bunch more new sites in the same niche, and they're already starting to rank. So it's neither here nor there, really. Yeah.
There's a question.
Actually, a bit of like a similar approach to just like have way more domains than before. Before we had like 5 main domains, kind of like just publishing as content as good as possible. And now it's more the approach of like, okay, I feel like this content source, let's just like bring it to like many websites. I think now we are also at like more than 200 domains registered, because it's just like risk diversifying pretty much. If we have many properties, they can't get them all pretty much. Even though like we don't try to like do like things which are like super black hat, but still it's just rational. And I think if Google sets up this kind of like incentive system, it's just like our way to react to it. But just like diversifying.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something, Karl.
I was just afraid. I don't know. My mic's over here, so I have to go all the way over here, you see.
All right, there's a question from Steven Kana for Max. Do you use WordPress? This is just a shameless plug. So
okay, it's interesting. No, I've never used WordPress. You mean like for selling links? I think I put it on some VAs today to do this, but I'm not sure if she signed up or not.
Right. So Steve, you should. I don't know if you met Max. Have you met Steve, by the way? Max? No.
No,
all right.
I can't remember.
Steve, you should get in touch with me. I'll intro you to Max, and then you can do your oddball magic and try to get Monday at 12.
Okay, Thailand time sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's in Poland, so you'll have to, I don't know, somehow to
Okay, and then
synchronize.
maybe afternoon.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of like setting an online project, whether a content website or a like a brand, let's say a new brand, right? Uh, what? How big of a part do things like properly vetted age domains and great links play in like getting it to kick off properly?
Huge. So like we do a lot of obviously EMD stuff, but we have also dabbled with obviously expireds. And the great thing about the expired domains are sometimes you're buying domains that just have links that you just it cost a fortune to acquire. Especially when I was in the gambling space, we used to buy quite a few, and it's just if you put a monetary value against the links that you might be paying a few grand for their expired domain or whatever, a few thousand, for the expired, it's astronomical the saving that you're making on trying to acquire those links, especially in the more difficult niches. So yeah, I would say in local, would it help? It might. I don't really dabble with it because there's just most of the time we can rank for a shoestring budget anyway. Whereas in the more tough niches, complex niches like for instance VPN stuff like that, I would dare say that is like a niche that I would probably look at buying a decent expired domain, maybe even using the expired domain as the actual website or potentially setting it up as a 301 website. I just don't know on that, but that's what I would 100% recommend if people are looking at more competitive niches, especially in the UK market or US market. Then expired is just a way to save you budget in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Max, if with German and things, is it a big place or?
I mean, yeah, like especially in the competitive niches, you can also often see expired domains dominating. I think we had like one website. It's not my niche, but for like CBD, they've been like ranking for every keyword for like on the position number 1 because they bought a former insurance website and it was like DR70, like insurance domain.
Insurance,
and
they
just like
repurposed
ranked
it so aggressively.
Yeah, like
Wow.
super aggressively. But if you can rank for like 2 years for like everything, which makes a lot of money, obviously it's quite worth it for them to use the expired in that way. Yeah, we're also using expired domains. I mean, it's like kind of like a hit and miss business. Like sometimes, even though everything looks great at the start, it's vetted, whatever, it might still not work out. But yeah, like pretty much, I can confirm what Karl said. Like often you like if you calculate the link value you get as like a percentage of like what you actually pay, it's insane. You pay like 1-2% of like the link price and like of the links you acquire by just using an expired domain. And often just like one domain which hits will pay off for like all other purchases. So we are definitely still using them. And I can also see that the price is still rising. Like over the years, you can see that the expired domains getting more and more expensive. Yeah, I'm an economist, so like, I believe in like, okay, people actually see like more value in that as well if the price is rising.
Yeah, well, I would still like I would like to stop at this aggressive repurposing stuff, especially I mean, if it as far as I understand, if it was a website in English, US or UK, whatever, like in the, let's say, the main market for Google, right? Yeah, you get it. I As far as I understand, it would have been like shaved rather quickly. And now you're saying that there are guys who just took an insurance company's domain and then reshaped it into a CBD site. It's like, how does that work? I mean, that sounds like a gold mine for doing stuff like that in Germany. Because
Yeah.
it's just hard to grasp how they got away with it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like Germany is like still like a foreign market for Google, obviously. So I think that it gets flagged much slower compared to just having like any English market. But yeah, I mean, impressive to see that it worked so long for them.
Yeah, Karl, have you ever been thinking of moving into some foreign markets? Just I don't know, learning a language or getting a foreign
It's tough,
team.
tough enough doing English, man. I have to learn English language, never mind German. No, we tried it a few times in the gambling markets, but it's the language barrier, and then it's just completely different. Like even we have outreach processes for UK, US, any other English speaking, but you don't have outreach processes for German, and it's quite hard to then try and at the time. I dare say you could probably do it now with AI a little bit better, but we all know still AI gets shit wrong, right? So and then it doesn't have the locality part, like the naturalization part. So yeah, it's not something. There's enough money in the UK and the US to go into German or other languages. I dare say I might venture in it with a business partner in the future if someone wants to partner up. I don't necessarily mind that, but it would definitely have to be a partner who is local to that language. Yeah. Exactly. So then they understand it more and I can speak to them and then it all translates, as opposed to the other way around where I'm just sort of sat on, DeepL or ChatGPT now trying to work out what the bloody thing says.
Yeah, there's also the mentality part, right? Because I mean, different countries have different mentalities, different societies have different mentalities, and well, when I was recording a podcast episode with Azedine Digidid from Canada, well, he's originally Algerian, and well, he obviously knows English. He speaks French. He also knows some Spanish and Portuguese, and his agency or company or whatever is doing SEO and affiliate sites in foreign markets. And he has sites in Mexico. He has sites in France, in Portugal, and Spain, and he was really explaining it in detail to me on that episode. By the way, if anyone wants to check it out, it's on our channel. Just look for Odys Podcast, Azedine.
What episode number, Vlad?
Huh?
What episode number?
Episode number. Just a second. I'll look it up. I don't remember. I think it was 3 or 4. Episode 3 or 4. Let's see.
Early doors.
It's 1, 2, 3. It's episode 4. Yeah, it's episode 4. So he was really explaining in detail how different, like even Spanish-speaking sites, like how they differ in terms of mentality. You have to understand how people think there, because well, in Spain, people tend to go more for high-ticket items, for example, whereas in Mexico, it's completely different. They tend to go more for low ticket items, and both are Spanish speaking markets, right? Stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely a must to have someone either local in that area, country, whatever, or someone who really understands how people think to make it work properly, right? To respond to their needs with your offers, content, whatever it is. Right? Am I right, Max?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's pretty good because, like, all German speakers can also read at least English. Like, probably we cannot write the content ourselves or edit that good, but at least like there's not much of a language barrier. But like, like for Karl, I mean, imagine like you move into the German market, probably need to like build like a smaller parallel team or like company structure, and it's quite some hassle to deal with. And like in the end, I feel like I somehow you will always like perform the best in your home market, and you can only add like a percentage of revenue in like other markets. I don't think you can just add on like the same amount as like UK and Germany, because maybe spending overall is probably the same. I think it doesn't really work that way. Like usually you just end up getting like 10, 20, 30% more total revenue maybe if you execute well. And then it's like a question if it's really worth it for all the effort being put into that.
Interesting. What do you expect from this year, business-wise, SEO-wise, site-wise, content-wise, algorithm-wise? Like, what are your expectations?
Change.
How big of a change?
So far this year, it's just been about change. It seems like every time you look at Google, something's changing this year. So, and a lot of the time, it's not small changes; it's quite big ones, right? It's like quite huge core updates that have came out this year, and it's rocked. I know I was speaking to a friend, and his business model, about 25% used to be affiliates. That used to come through him, and now he's down to less than 5%. Like it's literally hemorrhaged. Like there's no affiliates buying his service type thing anymore. So that's quite a big, drastic difference. Whether or not that comes back round, I've been in SEO a very long time now, nearly 20 years. I think, nearly 20 years. So it always comes back round. It swings and roundabouts. But unfortunately, we're just going through a very, very big lull right now. So yeah, that's my view on it anyway.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't care too much. I think what like the future brings. I focus much more about like the things I can control, like to execute, to test many things. Because in the end, like whatever Google's doing, it's a huge monopoly. It's not like they would care about like even us as like individual publishers and what we will do. I don't think we are important enough. I mean, you can see the stock price being an all-time high right now. So it's not like they're hurting that badly, Probably they've been losing like maybe 1% or up to 5% in market share to Bing might be. But in the end, it doesn't really affect the company to the extent we would hope for.
Amazing. That sounds like some great great attitude and great news. I wonder where Karl went. He probably went to look into his crystal ball. I don't know, to see the future.
Google came knocking.
No, sorry.
There's actually a question for you, Karl, from Steven again. Like who would have guessed, right? So he's asking, who is Sylvia?
No idea. I think it was some bird that he was trying to hit up on in Poland. Stephen absolutely loved her.
Okay, so that was a trick question.
He was busy putting his dance moves on the dance floor.
Well, just Steve being Steve.
The usual.
The usual. Yeah, speaking of events, are you guys going to be in Tallinn in 2 weeks?
I'm on my stag do in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I think Kazra's there. I think Kazra's going to Tallinn this year.
He's speaking there actually.
Yeah, sure. So he'll be there. But yeah, me and Dooley I'm probably going to get abused by Dooley for a few days. I think we're at there's just a small like white press SEO vibes in Dublin, which is I was questioning this because it's 2 days. So literally, stag do finishes on the Monday. I get back home, and the Wednesday is this. We're meant to be talking in Dublin, and I'm like, really? Like, probably need a few days to recover. Like, as I'm getting older, it's taking a few days to recover. So yeah,
looks like you'll be popping aspirin, right on the stage. Sorry.
Either that or something stronger. Yeah, definitely something. Trying to keep this going. But what about yourself, Max? Are you going to Estonia? Or?
No, I consider to go there. Would be cool. Like also, I mean, it's done by Kyle and Karl, so kind of like people from Chiang Mai. Yeah, no, I'm just here executing and enjoying the local community. I mean, it's literally like a mastermind every week, pretty much here. So there's no real need for me to like go to more conferences, I think.
Yeah, if you have like this access to to mastermind like regularly, it's like should be pretty intense, but so fruitful. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm living in a condo with like 4 or 5 other SEOs. We're doing a sauna session at least once a week here, so that's good enough. You don't need much more.
Amazing. Well, if anyone's listening, still pondering whether you should go to SEO Estonia or not, it starts on June 12th through to June 14th in Tallinn. You should just go to seoestonia.com and check everything out. Get yourself a ticket because it's going to be a great event. It's going to be in a spectacular location. Hilton Tallinn Park, I think the hotel is called. Yeah, it's got a great lineup as well. Like Karl has mentioned, Kazra is going to speak there among other great speakers, great pros. So yeah, make sure to get your ticket and go there and meet the Odys team there as well. Yeah, guys, running out of time. It was a pleasure to talk to you, to have this conversation that started off with unexpected news for you. Unexpected topic, but yeah, it was great. It was like a lot of useful information that you shared. So thanks for taking the time and joining the chat. For everyone watching, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, hit the bell button to get notifications for all the new stuff that's going to roll out. And yeah, see you here next week. And then the week after that, there's not going to be a new episode because I'm going to be in Tallinn. Where can people find you on the web, guys?
Mine's just karlhudson.co.uk, and then that's got everything on. It's much easier doing it this way than trying to read out my Instagram and everything.
Fancy.
I believe I've got like a whole website and things. I'm quite posh these days. There might be a few stock photography images on there, but we'll roll with it.
All right, well,
Nice.
Fair enough. What about you?
Yeah, for me, it's maxkuch.com. Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. Right now, I'm doing like a daily Made in Public video in German, talking about what I'm doing, like SEO, digital marketing wise. Also, just first name, last name on YouTube. Yeah, and then pretty much I will report there about everything I'm working on.
Yeah, so if you don't know German but wanna listen or want to hear Max talk his native language about SEO, that's where you should go, and you can find the link to his YouTube channel in the description box on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you should go to YouTube and check it out. Yeah, all right, that's a wrap. Once again, thank you guys. Thanks a bunch.
Cheers,
Yeah,
bro.
thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Talk soon.